Welcome back, everyone. I have a quick and small comic book haul for you. It's been a couple months ever since I moved in the new apartment in the 1st of May. I was doing all that. Then I was house dug sitting for 3 weeks in June. Now here it's almost July as I record this, and I haven't been to the comic shop in several months. I stopped in the other day. So of course, I had to pick up the new Deadpool Batman. This is like the Marvel previews. Just has like a, it's like kind of like an early order catalog, or it tells you what's coming up in the next couple months. There's a lot of good things coming up in late this year. A lot of omnibuses that I have an interest in. Let's see if they're in here or not. All the Krakoan era X-Men stuff is finally being put out in omnis, so I want to start checking those out. I think I am, for the most part, going to stop picking up single issues and just start doing trade paperbacks, hardcovers, and omnibuses. That way all the hardcovers and stuff can sit on the shelf next to each other. I don't worry about bagging and board and all that kind of stuff. And there's really no value in modern day comics anyhow. But I ended up picking up. I went into primarily to pick up this. This is The Nice House by the Sea. James Tynion IV, Alvaro Martinez Bueno, and Jordi Belair, Volume 1. Now, Nice House by the Sea is sort of a sequel to a series of books called Nice House by the Lake, which I read a year or two ago. I stumbled across those comics in Colorado and then finished picking them up here in Kansas City. And then I bought the hardcover edition of Nice House by the Lake, I think sometime last year. So this is Volume 1, so presumably there'll be a Volume 2, which is kind of interesting because this is kind of a sequel to Nice House by the Lake. But there's not going to be any more Nice House by the Lakes that I know of, or I don't know how they're going to continue. But I think it's originally 6 issues. I think the first one was 12. This one I think was 6 because I thought that I had them all, or that I didn't have them all until I looked it up and I got there, and it turns out that I do have 6 issues. And so I don't know. So this is the trade paperback. So this is every issue of the comic release put into one publication. So definitely interesting. I haven't finished reading this one yet. I've read all of Nice House by the Lake twice. I read it individually in the comics, and I read the whole thing as well. Because sometimes there's like added stuff in the back, like character designs. They'll show you every different version of all the different covers. Very interesting book. I need to go through and finish reading this, but that's one thing I picked up. Unfortunately, as far as I know, it's not going to be released in hardcover, so that kind of annoys me, having the first one, Nice House by the Lake, in hardcover format, but this one is not. If it is, though, ever released hardcover, of course, I'll pick it up and get rid of this one. And then I ended up picking up these: Escape from New York, Volume 2, Escape from Siberia, and Escape from New York, Volume 3, Escape to New York. So, Christopher Cebula, Maxime Simic, Diego Barreto. These are released from Boom. The first volume of this was actually co-written, or John Carpenter was actually a part of it. So I have a bunch of single issues of the first run. I think I have the trade paperback of the first one, of Volume 1. I don't remember, but they were all these were like half price off, so $14.99 and $16.99. So I paid half of those. They were in the discount bin. So if I don't have the first one, although I think I do, I'll track it down off eBay or something. That way I can have them all. So again, it's just much easier to have these stacked up on a shelf with actual books than to worry about having every individual comic these days. Yeah, a little bit better. And I stumbled across this one too. This was interesting. I don't have the other ones out. 9/11 Emergency Relief, a comic book to benefit the American Red Cross. This one is from Alternative Comics. Obviously, this was released in 2002. A bunch of comic artists came together and wrote pieces, first printing 2002, relating to or about or, in response to the events of 9/11, 2001. Not 2009, as somebody I work with thought. But this is the third one of these that I have. So I have 2 different ones that I bought back in 2002. I think there's a Marvel one, and then there's another one. If I remember, I'll put up images of those here. But so I don't know how many different places, different publishers did ones, but I've had the other two for 20 some years, and I came across this one, so I figured I'd pick it up as well. That way I could have 3 and have the complete collection, whatever. I haven't read it yet, but I definitely will. Kind of weird, kind of sad. Actually, it was weird because the same day that I found that, I'm converting a bunch of random tapes, VHS tapes. I have about several hundred of them that are all taped off TV, recorded, whatever stuff that I got through one of my last shops at City Thrift. I'm going through and I'm digitizing them to digital files. That way I can go through and cut out the actual content and keep the commercials and all the weird interstitials and bumpers and things. And one of the tapes I was converting, I think Thursday into Friday or Friday into Saturday, I forget when it was actually footage taken from like the TV on 9/11 back in 2001. So it's kind of weird that that was going on at my apartment while I was at work, and then left work and go and pick up a 9/11 comic. And going against what I just said, I ended up picking up this. This is The Creeping Below, issue 3. Brian Azzarello, Vanessa Del Rey, Hillary Jenkins. I have issues 1 and 2. So I forget what this is about, so I'll have to go back, dig out the other 2, reread them, and then dig into the third one. I'm not sure how many this is going to be. But Brian Azzarello, I've read a lot of his stuff and enjoy it. So this is one I decided to pick up just to, sort of complete the collection. And then surprisingly, even though it's been a couple months, when I got to the comic shop, there wasn't a lot of new releases that I missed when it comes to these distillery books. So this is Warm Fusion, number 2, Scott Hoffman, Albert Ponticelli. This is the cover B version. Usually I buy the cover A, but I don't think they had it. But distillery. So I went through, they actually rearranged the comic shop and everything was in a different spot, but had all the distillery books out on a different shelf, kind of laid out. I went through and it turns out I had every single one of them as far as all the ones that are released so far. But I spent a little bit of money. Like I said, I got discounts on these 3 were discounted because they're older. This was just released. This is new. Single issue. Got a lot of reading ahead of me. And then digging here. What's great about these is I'll go through, look, and see all the stuff I want to get, and then it just pretty much underlines the fact that I'm never going to get them. But like I said, there's a lot of interesting omnibuses coming out. I think the ones I want are in August and September. So I'll have to keep an eye on those. Like here. I don't know. Alright, that's my update. I'll start going back to the comic shop a little bit more here and there. Like I said, since I don't really plan on collecting individual issues as much, and I'll just do trade paperbacks, I'm just going to go in and check with the owner and have him order the ones I want. That way, I'm ordering from him and not going through Amazon. But as always, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, share, subscribe. See you next time.